Friends, family, subscribers to the YouTube channel Adventuring with the S.G.O.C.C. Welcome. This is a first meeting, what we call a readiness meeting for our neighbors in the place where we live. Things are getting ticklish overseas, and so we want to be prepared on what's going to happen. This is less about guns and more about being prepared and looking out for each other. So water. I suggest the 1 pint water that you get, a couple of $3 for a 24 pack, stock up on those. Because when it happens, it's going to happen fast, and we're going to lose 3 things right away: electricity, clean water, and gas. No utilities, because nobody's going to be there to run. I've developed a water filtration system, but that's going to be after the bottled water runs out. All it is a 5-gallon bucket, ladies' large pad type tampons, and charcoal. Works great. It'll filter the nastiest creek water. You can filter that water out of the big puddle back there and drink it. That's how good it works. And then
Where do you get those at?
well, you can buy a 5-gallon bucket for $5 at Lowe's, Home Depot, or Ace.
Oh, okay.
And it's real easy to get all that. I try to make my designs for post-apocalypse are very simple and junkyard parts. I designed a wind power generator as well out of a bicycle wheel, 20-foot pole, PVC pipe, and an old style generator out of a vehicle, because they never go bad. And we tested it. It'll power a 4-gang electrical outlet with a minimum of 6 miles an hour wind. We get plenty of that through here. So one of the things that my friend in Israel, who does risk assessment, apprised me of, I gave him kind of an outlay of what's going on. He agrees with me that the base is a target for any military action that comes to the United States. It's the only military intelligence base in the entire U.S. Army across the planet. They get that, they get the codes, they own the Army. So that's why that's important. The other thing is meds. I've been stocking up meds for a long, long time. I know what my minimum is as far as my heart stuff and my diabetes meds, and I cycle through every 2 weeks. I'll go for a week without taking the maximum dosages to build up my storage of them. So I've got 6 months worth of meds stacked up. That's going to be the other thing. We're just not going to have meds at all. We're not going to have access to them. Pharmacies aren't going to be open. The trafficking legally to supply pharmacies with meds isn't going to be there. If it goes bad enough, we'll go take the meds we need. The other thing is canned and dry food. Frozen food is going to last, what do you think, 48 hours? Maybe 72?
Well, if the power goes out,
Yeah,
it'll probably only last a couple days.
that's 48 hours.
Yeah.
And then whatever you have in your freezer had better be cooked and saved. It doesn't get cold enough around here at night for cold storage in the ground. So cook it, eat it, rely on dry storage after that. Rice, beans, what have you, whatever you can cook on a campfire. The other thing is we need to make sure that everybody knows what is called the clock identification. Okay. Right now, the only driveway into the courtyard here lies at 4 o'clock. Whatever way you're facing is always 12 o'clock. 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock directly behind me. So if you want everybody else to see something that you're looking at that poses a threat, you say where it is, as if you're standing in the center of a clock with 12 o'clock in your direct front. So we can all look over there, and if I say there's a car coming in at 4 o'clock, it's not a timetable, it's a direction. And we all need to know about that. We all need to know how to see possible threats. We pretty much know everybody that lives here. especially on this bank. If you see a vehicle come in, like a pickup with people in the back, they don't mean any good to anybody here. They're not here for a good purpose. Even if we just observe them, we need to be aware of that with everybody along in here.
Well,
Okay, we've already identified the Section 8 people and the drug dealer in the corner. On this bank, we know those two people are no bueno, and we keep an eye on them. Craig was with me when I traced one of the drug buyers out one morning. I think he won't be back. That's just, as a matter of course, we need to know these things. What flanking is, what protecting your base is and each other, right and left spotting. I have plenty of arms, so when it comes down to that, we're covered. It's not a matter of shooting who you identify as an enemy, because some of those that we deem enemies at first meeting may not be so. And you can't just go arbitrarily around and kill people or shoot at them. You just don't do it. It's not like the movies where you shoot at them and they fall over dead. You have to shoot them a couple of times. You have to get up close. You have to make sure they expire. Otherwise, they're a continued threat. But that's only if you identify them as an actual threat. Just because somebody comes in here that's new doesn't mean they're a threat.
mm-hmm.
We have to identify them as a threat before we go after them. The going after them part's easy. The finding and foraging for food and medical, that's easy. We got that covered. We have vehicles, arms, and the means to do it. The most important thing is the willingness to look out for each other. It can't be casual, and it can't be well, between 2 and 2:30 is my shift. After that, I got to watch my programs. That ain't how it works. If we look out for each other, we look out for each other. Like when Jax wanted to look outside because Craig's dog was barking. That's a probable threat. So poke your head out. Make sure it's okay. Craig was sitting out back. Dog was barking, but tail was wagging. So not a threat. Went from possible to nothing like that because I took the effort to look. He's not the greatest watchdog. Hates loud noises. Anytime I grab a gun, he gets freaked out. He just doesn't like loud noises. Guitars, guns, voice, dropping something on the floor. Anything that he decides is loud. He's a good dog, very loyal, but not a great watchdog. So that's what a readiness meeting is all about. We're not going to teach each other how to shoot guns or any of that. That comes later or as an individual thing. We just want to make sure we're ready, stand with each other, be ready for each other, and keep our eyes out. That's what it's all about. You're up at 2:30 in the morning during the week.
I'm up at 2:30 in the morning most days.
Well, that volunteers you kind of for the guy that's looking around in the middle of the night.
I look around in the middle of the night every night.
There you go. I'm up
At any given time, I can tell you how many people are out there camping.
I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning every day. And as Craig can tell you, I'm a very light sleeper. It didn't take you much to talk through the window and get me
No,
up this morning.
I was just above a whisper.
That's how light I sleep.
I had to wake him up this morning because he forgot we had to leave earlier today.
Oh.
So
How'd you wake him up?
I just
whisper.
barely,
He said,
just like this, barely talked through the window. Jeff, you up? Nope.
like that.
That's what he said.
And before I go
Nope.
to bed every night,
I am now.
I open the door and I do a visual sweep of the courtyard. And I open the back and visually sweep the backyards here before I go to bed every night. Which is at a different time every night on purpose. I don't want to give anybody a schedule. Oh, Jeff goes to bed at 10 o'clock, like
Ooh.
Kelly does.
That was almost a whoops. Skid marks.
Oh, yeah. So the whole thing is water, food, meds. Then beyond that, we work on an individual basis to see what everybody's strengths are. The only two people in this lightly assembled group, which most people didn't come in tonight, that I know for a fact will draw down on somebody is my brother and I. Because we've done it and had each other's backs for literally over 50 years. My best guess is that Craig would be able to fill that position as well. I don't know what strengths you bring to the table. Are you able to do medical triage in the field?
What's that?
Somebody has a bullet wound, can you treat it? Stop the bleeding, hit it with what's that instant glue? Super glue.
Super glue.
Super glue was invented as a field triage wound agent to mechanically shut bullet wounds. That's why skin on skin sticks to each other so well with super glue. It'll get you to a surgeon or a MASH unit. That's where super glue came from.
Or if it's
In case you didn't know out there,
gunpowder.
you know, or you can flashbang gunpowder, whatever it takes to close a wound. I don't know if you have experience in logistics, which is knowing, you know, what meds we have, what food groups we have, what the amount of water is that we have, what ammunition we have. You know, there's everybody brings something else to the table that they probably don't even know they know how to do.
Well, once she's taught, she'll be able to load magazines.
Yeah, if you can't do anything else, load magazines. If you can't do that,
And if someone is actually coming after us, she'll be able to warn us or use her own gun and
there you go.
at least make sure we know that something's there. By using her gun, we know something's there, you know, so we can turn around and finish off the job.
So that's important to know. I remember when you bought that 25 off of me, you said you hadn't shot a gun, or don't have much experience shooting guns.
I don't even know how to shoot a gun.
Okay, well we can take care of that at a later date. There's lots of desert out there. We like going to Dry Canyon. It's a nice, easy place. I think I'm going to make a video soon of Tim and I and a third person, probably Craig, taking literally every single gun in our inventory out to Dry Canyon and showing and explaining each one and then firing them, all of them, in one big video.
Yeah, there's a couple of them I won't be shooting.
Well, I'll do the shooting.
I need my arms.
Yeah, Tim won't shoot the 500 Magnum.
Neither will I.
Or Tim, I don't think Tim will shoot the 357 rifle either.
That thing will take me down.
But that's the whole point of a readiness meeting. Get with your neighbors. Get with the people that you enjoy spending time with. In a very short, distant future, we may rely on our neighbors for our very lives. Get out there, meet your neighbors, talk to them, get to know them, and get ready. This has been a Fun Brothers production. More to follow.